welcome back to another video. I'm hoping you guys are all having a fantastic day. Today's video is going to be a video on the potential and at this point fairly likelihood of a fairly significant spring storm. This spring storm will be very strong, very powerful, have severe weather with it. It will have some snow with it, yes. Even though it's late March, almost April, snow still does occur, especially across the northern portions of the country. So that's nothing too unusual. But yeah, just the flooding concerns in the plains won't be easing up by this at all. It'll just get worse, and this will bring quite a bit of rain, especially to the Midwest, like Illinois, Indiana, Iowa, Missouri, Nebraska. So this is, a big storm followed by some cold air. If you'd like to support this channel, I want to add this in. Consider subscribing, especially now. My videos are getting less and less views. It's not because of, anything I have done. It's just a less active season. That's normal. But also my YouTube channel got demonetized, so that basically that means my videos will get less views. So in order for that to get evened out, if you would subscribe, that would really help me out a lot. So thank you for doing that. That's all I ask. You could also write a comment, and nice comment, and like the video if you are willing to get out of your way for that. In terms of the weather, right now we're looking at the latest GFS run. Let's just run this back. Very chilly conditions across the country. In fact, if we go to my local station in Chicago, which is located right here, sorry about that, located right here, we see 28 degrees Fahrenheit, and it's supposed to get down to 25 degrees, which is pretty chilly, and it will continue to be chilly for quite a while. There will be a brief warm-up with this storm. You could see, we see, whoa, a big warm-up. We see the 32-degree line getting pushed way into the north, into James Bay, Canada, while the storm just starts directing. I think I have a drawing tool with this bandy cam, so maybe we can draw. Hold up, let me get a better writing. There we go. How do I erase? How do I clear? Trying to figure this out quickly, guys. I am sorry. Hold up. Can we just clear this somehow? I really don't know. What if we just, okay, there we go. All right, sorry guys. We'll be stopped. No, okay, no. Continue recording. Okay, so what I wanted to tell you guys is that, I'm sorry, I should have done this earlier. This storm is going to be right here, and there's going to be a high pressure somewhere right along here, and it's a little bit off here, but the high pressure spins clockwise. It basically goes like this, and you can see that its winds with this little low pressure that's spinning like this are actually managing to go like this with this low spinning counterclockwise. They're directing a bunch of moisture from the Gulf of Mexico to enter right through here, and you can see that's marked by these lines right here. That is basically indicating a flow from the southwest. And watch this over the next couple of hours. This whole thing is moving. Let's see if we could go to in terms of the weather actually moving. We see that, look, right in this area we see the moisture just blow up, and that is because of that moisture that is continuously getting pumped into the atmosphere from the Gulf of Mexico and this low will be fairly powerful. It is not yet at this point, but it starts bringing up more and more moisture. You can see at this point some moderate to heavy rain across the northern Illinois area, Missouri, southern Iowa, Michigan, Indiana, and Kansas. However, we see that there's going to be quite a bit of cold air behind this with this high pressure swooping down from Canada. This will bring a lot of, let's change the color to blue. This will bring a lot of cold air from Canada. I mean, a lot of cold air from Canada. So if we were to look at this, hopefully the recording is good because it's okay, never mind. We look at a lot of air from Canada with this high pressure. We see this, it just bombards the moisture field with cold air, and we see this actually turn over into snow. And maybe people are sick of this, and I completely understand that. I'm also sick of the snow, but we see that this snow really develops and actually pushes fairly down to the south. You could see, well, not incredibly south, but Kansas, southern Iowa, Wisconsin, Iowa, Nebraska. The European model is showing even more snow than the GFS, so that's interesting. You can see a little bit of backside snow in Ohio, Pennsylvania, upstate New York, And then earlier the models are showing a bigger storm for the northeast, which could produce quite a bit of snow. If we go to 18Z right now, which is an older previous model, we see this storm evolve, produce maybe a couple of inches for Michigan, Indiana, and then we see a more cool pattern develop. You can see another snow system, and maybe finally the pattern starts breaking. But I remember how I made that video, Winter's Last Grasp. Well, I may have been wrong, and sometimes that just happens when you're sick of winter. You want the spring to come. You want it to come so bad that you're willing to literally say something that wasn't right, even though that's what it looked like at that point. It just has changed. It looks to be fairly more cold. Again, like I mentioned in my spring outlook, the one thing I did get right was my spring outlook. I mentioned how in the beginning, or I don't know if my spring outlook, but sometime it was like a 8 to 14 day outlook. I mentioned how there will be a pattern of cold air flowing like this, and there will be baroclinic zone with storms riding along this, and we see that very, very clearly. Maybe not with the storms riding through that same baroclinic zone, but we definitely see the cold air through those regions. If we go to hour 234, you can see that cold air is right here. We see very defined cold air, warm up here. So the south will be warm, but the north will be chilly for sure. If you go to the European model, this is utilizing the tool windy.com. This is just from that one storm that I showed you. It's way farther to the north, the heaviest snow. Well, not way, but farther to the north, and you can see some locations 5, 6 inches, 7 inches. Here in Nebraska, potentially up to a foot of snow. So that's a little bit concerning, especially with all that snow that has already melted. But look what happens when we go to the next 10 days. Boom, we see a big storm right here. Will this happen? I'm not sure. You can see that's fairly far to the south, and the GFS was advertising this at the beginning. Now it has backed off. However, this could definitely still happen with one of these storms that just has a little bit of more cold air to utilize. And look, cities like Burlington, almost a foot of snow. What is that? I can't read that. Charleston, no, I don't know. Charlton, I don't know. Utica, 11.8. Ithaca, Cornell University, 10.2. Syracuse, 11.7. Rochester, according to this, would be getting around 70. A lot of major cities. Pittsburgh would be seeing some snow. Washington, D.C., maybe even. Charleston, Cambridge, Canton, Cleveland, Columbus, maybe even. So a very snowy pattern for this time of the year, actually. So a big storm followed by cold air. And I wanted to show you guys this whole map. Let's go back to the. Okay, let's go back to this page, and look, there's not much in terms of watches and warnings. There's nothing huge, but there is some flood warnings. You could see some river flood warnings that's marked by those little look at those little green, I don't know how to describe it, lines, kind of crooked lines. That's basically where the rivers are flooding. Sorry about that yawn, but you can see also some flood warnings, flood watches. We have a hydraulic look here in the Chicago area, and that is because we've received quite a bit of rain. The soil is pretty soggy, and we could see quite a bit of rain with that system, over 1 to 2 inches, possible 5 to the 5-day forecast. We see the rain and then maybe a little bit of snow on the backside. But definitely something to be watchful for. In terms of temperatures, let's go to thermodynamics, and let's go to a 2-meter temperature anomaly. We see that. Let's just go all the way back to hour 0. Play this out one by one. Right now, a little bit cooler. Obviously, that's why it got down to 25 degrees during the night here. And we see a big warm-up. And it's going to be temporary with this storm, but brief warm-up. And we see the cold air come back right in in a major way. And look at that. Some of those, that's very cold, guys. That's almost 16 to 20 degrees, 30 degrees below average, which will not give you frost, but it will put you in the 40s and 50s in the south, which is unusual for this time of the year. And look, it's just a cold continues. Only region that may get spared is extreme portions of Florida and the west, the southwest. Otherwise, fairly chilly up until the very long range, where maybe we could start seeing the pattern breaking. That's still too far out to even mention. So I would just like to say again, thank you for the continuous support on Patreon. That is always amazing to witness. If you like to, there's a link in the description box below. Consider subscribing. That would be always nice. And I'll see you guys in the next episode.